Today, women represent 50% of the population in the world, but they only represent 38% of the human capital in the world, while male represent the 62% remaining. Now, why is this so important? Because if today we convert and have the income of women the same as the income of males, we will be talking of about 160.2 trillion more dollars in the world. That means basically doubling the world GDP. So women are value added. It's not that we are doing things to make women better, we are doing things to make all of ourselves better. And if we are able to accomplish that, we will have a huge success. So what we need to do to be able to do that, and what needs to be changed? What needs to be changed is giving them more access to assets, especially education, access to health services, and access to property rights. And that requires changing the regulatory system. What we know, in terms of human capital, we know that there is a gap of access to education, especially primary education, especially in developing countries. Although there has been a significant success in improvement of access to primary education, still we are not there. We don't have the same levels of access as male, and this gets worse the poorest the economies are. We also need to improve them access to health services, and that is linked to infrastructure and to many things that will allow them to have access to all the health services they need. Because for human capital, education and health services are central. And that's the only way they will be able to convert their capacities into this value added that we want for our society, so that we all can benefit from it. Now, in terms of regulatory and regulation, there is some work going on in terms of calculating indexes of access. And today, women have around 3/4 of the rights of male. So we are still missing 1/4 of rights. And that's something that countries need to work intensively. Now, of course, if we look across the world, there are differences. Some regions are a lot worse than the average. So we need to also take into account the disparities across the world and trying to reduce that. My view is that we have a huge potential to unleash in making gender equality. We need to increase access to women, to all the rights, to assets, and that will convert in value added, which will improve our society and will improve all of us across the world. So let's push for that. Let's keep making efforts. What FAO does is central for it, because FAO works at the country level, and that's exactly what we want. It's more than different to what we do internally to FAO. It's correct for FAO to internally create this parity, but what we basically do is influence the countries. And that's where our major impact is. So let's put more effort and let's try to accomplish that. Thank you.